Well, here we are, the Icy Wilderness, the penultimate level of Ninja Shadow of Darkness. This is actually going to be my second attempt at the level, because I gave it a run just slightly before, really just badly messed it up. So last time I played this level, I just kept getting smoke bombs all the time, since I'm low on health. I'll just use a couple of them here to whittle down these ninjas. And let's turn the sound off on my phone. There we go. Right. So the first part of the level, you kill those ninjas and it activates this lift over here. This chest up here, something you kind of want to avoid. And similar to the beach level, we've got a secret in the wall, which is some more magic. If you remember last level, I did a fairly poor showing against the boss. I should not be activating that chest. I know it's always a trap. But yeah, so now we have to make up for that slightly disastrous attempt at the boss here. This is not a great place to be fighting. I did actually die on here the time before last that I played this level. It was either on that bridge or the bridge slightly further up. Oh yeah, one thing that I missed, potentially a petty complaint, but yeah, this area here, not ideal for fighting on. One of the errors you'll see crop up in a few of the early 3D games before like people fully got to grips with the technology, I think, or they just didn't care. This is a bit of a mean jump here, but we did it. Okay, I think this one is safe, and it's a healing item, so that takes some of the pressure off. But yeah, this is a horrible place to fight. These little icicle or stalactites fall down and limit the already low amount of space. And if you go ahead too fast, they will land on you, which can, I think, knock you off the edge as well as damage you quite a bit. But they do at least protect me from these daggers. Well, most of them. Oh, that was a necessary block there. This room's a bit weird. I feel like there was supposed to be a wave of enemies that came out of here, because as you see, the stalactites fall down as though you've cleared a wave of enemies. Or maybe those ninjas back there came from it, I don't know. Either way, it's a bit of an unused arena. I'm going to grab an axe from here. The axe, I think, is close to, if not the same amount of damage as the ultimate sword. It certainly feels like one of the most powerful weapons in the game. That little section there, making a return from the beach level. We'll do that in a second. It's a bit easier than the beach level, I think. It's a bit more confined, but you only have to do it once. So let's tackle that now. This is a nice little awkward jump there. And we get another wave of ninjas. So when I was playing this level by myself obviously, earlier, it was definitely noticeable to me that even though this level has some nasty tricks up its sleeve, the waves of enemies are a lot smaller than in some of the early levels. Most of the difficulty, I think, comes from challenges like here. You can see the minecarts on the right there. When I played this level a few days ago, the minecarts didn't actually start moving on the far right, so I hopped on this one. Let's not jump like that when I'm over the cliff. But yeah, I hopped on this one, went all the way up. There was nothing to jump onto. Not an ideal situation. Not ideal is a phrase that I think goes with Ninja very well. So I did that in one go last time I played the level. I fell off. It was unfortunate. I lost this axe, but it's not actually a biggie because there is an ultimate sword in the next area. Unless I die in the next area, there's no benefit to leaving the ultimate sword, because you can't actually come back to this area. It's a small little... I kind of think of it as a temple. I don't know what it is. Given that there's all these ghosts, maybe it's just a crypt. But yeah, they're making a reappearance from the 2nd and 4th levels. You just have to kind of wipe them all out, and those little beams that they're coming out of go out. And once all of them have gone out, you can use one of them to jump out to the next area. So I've been taking a little bit of damage to get all these coins, but honestly I don't think you really need them at this stage. I doubt that the last shop has enough product to eat up 16,000 coins. It does have the continue, but that's only 5,000. Oh, let me just up at full health again. These guys making a reappearance from the catacombs level, although this time they're kind of blue colour. They'll go back to the previous swampy green in the final level. Another life, although I'm at full already. So I was talking a bit about sort of... Well then, that's the thing that happened. That tiny little corner there, just slightly ran over it. We're fine, we're fine. There will be more scrolls, and there will be a weapon just down here. But yeah, like Resident Evil and survival horror games, I always tend to go overboard in saving up items towards the end. I think that's a habit from the PS1 era. A lot of those games were a bit more vicious in what resources they gave you to hold on to. I think probably if I played some of the more modern horror games on higher difficulty levels, you get the same experience. Resident Evil 7, I tend to play it on the basic difficulty level and get to the last part of the game with just a massive arsenal of weaponry that you don't need. Part of that comes down to like boss fights in some of the old survival horror games, where you just had to keep spending so much ammunition to kill everything. You didn't really want to get down to using a knife against some of those things. But in Resident Evil 7 at least, the final encounter, it's kind of more of a set piece, doesn't really require you to have masses of ammunition. So saving up for that is just pointless. And that's kind of the case here with Ninja. I've got so many coins now, I've been saving them here and there. But I don't need this many, I don't think. Okay, I think this was a scroll last time I came here. It is. Right, so we're down a life, but other than that I think we're in a fairly good state. Let's provoke that into opening. So yeah, we got the zombies reappearing from level 2 as well. Kind of nice to see them again. It's just like meeting up with old friends. Another thing, obviously, with Ninja is saving up lives. Like I'm in the habit of thinking, oh well, I died pointlessly. I should just restart the entire level. Probably not needed, but definitely a kind of concern I get each time I die like that. This is one of the kind of problem areas of the level. I have a mixed history of success with this zone. The explosions aren't too bad. I mean, obviously if you get caught by them, you're straight off the edge. But as you can see, like... Whoops. Nearly had a perfect run there. As you can see, like, if I run down after one that's exploding, the shockwave doesn't really reach back up to hit me. So we need a key from over here. Take a quick detour. You really kind of notice here, like, the enemies aren't very tough, especially at full power. Obviously that makes a difference, but you know, it's a level 2 enemy, level 5 enemy. They've not got particularly complicated movesets, they don't pull out any tricks, and you know, it's not like the Cloud level where you were just depopulating the entire Lizard Man civilization. You just had like under 10 enemies there, I think. Even the 3rd level, like, you kept just having waves and waves of samurai and those weird demon guys. So it's easy to get into a kind of mindset where these latter levels are just ridiculously, impossibly damaging and destructive. And that does come into play with some of the jumps. We will see that soon. But in terms of the combat, not too bad. This is one of those awkward bits where, even though it kind of feels like it should be diagonal, it's up, down, left, right controls. So now we come on to a boss fight in the middle of the level to vary things up. There's a couple of boss fights in this level. They're both exactly the same. I think they even have exactly the same cutscene. Yes, that does mean he gets punted out the cave both times and sticks his sword through himself. As bosses go, I consider this one of the easier ones. To be honest, the bosses, I guess they aren't actually that hard, really. Not if you sort of play them a couple of times. So there's a little trick here. The boulders will never hit you if you're up at the top of the screen. He does the boulders when he goes up like kind of tall. Shouldn't have taken that hit, but nonetheless, game over for this guy. So we're coming on towards the second half of the level now. Yeah, there are a couple of problem bits here. We'll see how they go. One of them made me restart the level last time. There was just a bit like that bit earlier where I ran over a corner and immediately died. There was just no need for the death. So we'll see if we can overcome that this time. Get it back up to 9 lives there. I believe there's food in this one. Yep. This key, probably the most pointless key in the entire game, opens that door right there. So here, I actually did the main jumping difficult part and then fumbled the very last step. So there's a jump on the spot there. And then kind of just edge across, try not to get hit by the wheel. Okay. It's one of the hardest parts of the level. When you know the way across, pretty nice. It's a little bit tricky to react to, at least for me, if you don't know the way. So, in the old days, that bit kind of ended a few runs for me, potentially for other people that got this far in the game as well. Now we're on the last main area of this level. You can see there's a boss arena down there. That's our final destination. And yes, it's that same boss that we fought earlier. Right. So this one's safe, usually. There is always the random factor. This one, no, do not open it, never open it, desist from opening it. If you remember those little wisps that kind of followed me around on those bridges in the beach level, it spawns like 4 of those. Just not something you ever want to be doing with your life. Alright, so this is the bit that mucked me up last time, or well, I mucked myself up, I suppose. You wait for that, and then here. And then it does it on the spot. Okay, I think we've got the rest of the level sorted now. There's still a couple of bits that you can muck up on the die. But they're more like that little corner where I just pointlessly fell off. There's just no need to die at those bits, so let's try not to do that this time. I feel like the pacing of this level is a lot better than the early ones. I feel like maybe if the early ones were paced more like these, the game might have been a little bit more popular. Probably not to any great extent, but you know, there's a lot to be said for the fact that enemies just don't outstay their welcome. There's a fair bit of variation. I think there still is in the early levels, but it's just it all comes together to make the level that bit more sort of dynamic and interesting. You're not doing the same fight 600 times in a row. You just kill a couple of enemies and then move on to the next section. I think in many ways it's probably one of those things where these levels were designed last. The lessons that they learned creating the early levels all came together here to make a much more interesting experience. Still a couple of little flaws. I think those jumps probably a little bit mean. Could maybe have done with a more forgiving structure. The jumps with like those moving platforms. I feel like if you were to just kind of let people fall down and have to run all the way back up and around, rather than just immediately killing people for mucking up those weird sequences, it would have been a bit of a better experience all round. Maybe a little bit careful. Last time I played, I kind of bumped my face off like this slightly higher walkway and didn't land on the platform. Immediately died. Just one of those silly deaths you don't really want to be having right at the end of the penultimate level. These guys seem to want a bit of company. Let's help them out. And there was one over here. Leave no survivors. This area over here, kind of pointless for this playthrough. See, there's just so few enemies compared to the early levels. It's so much nicer, but yeah, you clear that area, you get a healing item. It was useful for me when I was playing this earlier, not so much now. I've somehow managed to avoid taking quite as much damage. And here we go, boss time. Let's see if we can do this without taking a pointless hit. Aside from in the cutscene. Sword straight through my head. I think the camera angles were different actually, and that's one difference. So this is a good time to hit him. Right up to the top of the screen. Careless. So we nearly got him. There we go, so that's the penultimate level of Ninja. Got all of the secrets, full health, full magic, full smoke bombs, ultimate sword, full scrolls, and hopefully we can get full health from the shop. And we'll get full continues. It really is absolutely the state you want to be in going into the final level. It's a bit of a slog. We'll see how it goes. I think we'll be fine. So let's continue. Let's grab it. Since it's the final level, I'll just buy that mystery item. 250 points. A great trade there. You get points for these? You do. Let's buy everything. Let's just go wild. This is where we find that this food on the end is 12,050 coins, and I can no longer buy it. No, it's 100. Perfect. Well, we've bought everything. I think we're in a pretty good standing to clear the final level. Not use any continues. But I guess we'll see about that. See you next time.